Hey guys, and welcome to another painting tutorial. This time we're going to paint up a flame sword. Now this looks very rough because I tried to strip the paint off to do this tutorial again. And then I got fed up and I was like, I should repaint over it. So, very, very simple. To do this, we're going to use 4 colours, and to be honest, doesn't matter too much what you use. You want a yellow, an orange, you want a red, and then you want a darker red, maybe also a brown. The key ingredient here is lamy and medium. We got our wet palette, so what we're going to do is we're going to line up an orange colour, we're going to do an orangey yellow, we're going to do an orange, we're going to do orangey red, and we're going to do red, and then we'll go from there. So, let's get that set up on the palette. Now remember to shake your paints real well before you start. Okay, so like I said, we'll start with the yellow. Just plop it up there. Okay, so this is a really simple painting technique that I use to paint up a flame sword. We're going to start with a yellow base, so we're going to repaint the whole sword with yellow. So let's do that. One thing to remember is just try and keep your brush going the same direction, your strokes the same direction the entire way. Start from at any point, just flow up. Okay, so we've done our base paint of yellow, and as you can see, it's not perfect, but it doesn't really need to be honest. You just want to give it an even coat, just like that. Now with the sword, when you think about fire, fire gets colder the nearer to the top it is per se. So, when it comes to fire, if you look at like a Bunsen burner, it's always white and then blue. So with this, we're going yellow, orange, red. That is the plan. So we're going to divide the sword into 5. Yellow, orangey yellow, orange, orangey red, red. Not that hard. It sounds a little more complicated, but it's really not, I promise. And to do so, we're going to start mixing our colours. Bit of water. And we're just going to make a lighter orange. As such. And we're literally just going to mask it in where we want it. So if we start just above the crease, and we'll go to about where the yellow line ends. So, just around here. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be even. It's hardly even noticeable, but when we use the medium, it will really pick it up. And now we'll let that dry. In the meantime, we'll move on to our orange. So get some of this, and very much the same thing, mask it out, and continue from where we were. And you see how it's blending there slightly? You'll see people who can do this way better than me, and they're amazing. And they'll make this blend so nicely, but as a rookie painter, sometimes you just got to get what you can. Like such. Okay, this is where the secret weapons start to come out. From here, we want to use some contrast in with the orange to thin it down. Now a lot of this is just stuff I've done through trial and error, to be honest. And again, we're going to mask it out around about here. And you might be thinking that looks very red, but I'll show you shortly. When we put pure flesh terror's red on, which is this one, and it's a lot more red, as you can see there. And as you can see, it's so wet it starts to water itself down as such, which is fine because we run it running, because this is where the sun bit starts. This is where lamy medium comes into play. Lamy medium is a pure clear paint, so make sure your paintbrush is very clear. You want to dab it in, and we're going to blend all over. Bring it down, and we're going to start blending like this. Go along the edges of the blade. You don't have to be neat with this. Don't have to be neat at all, because the medium will do the work for you. Along the edge here and up here. as such, like this. There we go. And then you can do certain other things. So this is what it now looks like with the medium all over. Get this nice contrasting colour. You can then go back in with the medium. So if I just take some from here, mix it into the yellow like such, we can then go back to the base, steady the camera, and blur this in like this, just to help with that colour. Like such, to make it lighter. Keep the sword flat, otherwise it will begin to run down. And then we'll do the same thing with the orange. Mix it all in. Bring this back. Bring it up like this. See, this is a much darker colour, which is fine, because then we can go back to our orangey yellow medium mix, and we can just slowly wet this together like such. And what you'll see is when it dries, you get this amazing mixture of colour. And then again, we'll just do the same at the top. With the contrast, we'll water it down a lot. Using our medium. Dump it in there. Mix it in like this. Because Flesh Terriers is a very strong red. And we'll go back in, just all over the top like such, just to darken up the top of the blade. Bring it down as much as you want. Darken up wherever you want. And just remember that wherever you leave it really thick is where you'll get these really cool fiery effects. See, like this side is already starting to dry. Get these really nice blended colours. Just want it a bit darker up here. And then we're going to leave it to run like this. So I will leave my sword hanging downwards, just to make the colours run down, and also to follow the grooves of the line on the sword. As you can see, it's following here. So we'll leave this dry and I'll show you the result. Okay, so one thing to note, as you can see it's running down. If you turn the blade up and down while the paint's wet, the paint will run down, create these awesome effects, which you'll see when it dries. Okay, so now that this is dried, you can see the effect it's had. We have this nice, if I can get my camera to focus. There we go. We've got this nice core red going through the middle, as if like the middle of the blade, the bottom is nice and bright, getting dark towards the tip. The last stage of this, you want a darker red, maybe even a brown, maybe a bit of both. We're going to go cone red, and we're just going to do the top and some of the sides in this colour, just from where the blade would be the coldest. So, again, load your wet palette up, put it here so we don't get confused. Water your paint down. I'm told you want this consistency of semi-skimmed milk. So 2 drops of water, I guess. Rinse your brush off. And then we're going to go in. Little bit of paint. Just going to do all the top of the blade. So we're going to go in, we're going to do the top of the blade. So, just hit these top edges like this. And again, you don't need this to be perfect. You also want to try and go down the blade, but again, it doesn't have to be perfect, you can just flick it. So you just want to sort of dab it in places. So I'm going to use a nice flat dry brush and literally just tap it in places. Just to create that cool edge blade, like such. Just add some depth to the sword. And again, if you've got any of your little Lamian mix, that's on there. You can just use that to help blend the dark or the cold into the pure flame. Very gentle, just like so. There we go. I'm just going to blend it all together. Bring it down a little bit. Do the same to the other side. Bit more of the Larmian red. Once again, just blend it together. Just to help create that cool, cold edge. Again, we don't want this to be perfect. We want it to be fire. And when have you ever seen a perfect fire? One key thing to note, go up. You want the paint to go where it's going to get colder and darker. So go up this way to blend it. Same with this side, you want to go up. And then this is your final result. We've got a nice blend of yellow into orange into red at the top where it'd be cooler. It's still drying, so you have to be very careful. We've got this nice orangey flame going through the middle from where we let the Larmian mixture just run down. And again, with flame, it doesn't have to be perfect. As a rookie painter, I've learned, if you want to paint something that doesn't have to be perfect. And like I said earlier, there is no such thing as a perfect fire. So thank you guys for watching. If you've enjoyed this, please subscribe to the channel, like the video. Hopefully I'll see you in the next painting tutorial. Bye guys.